Manchester, the home of Red versus Blue, Industrial Revolution, Britpop.
And for the last 3 years, my name's Kealan. Come with me on this journey as I find out why so many artists are still working a full-time job alongside creating music, and to answer the question, should you want to turn art into a job at all?
To start my journey, I wanted to speak to someone who does it all themselves. I sat down with producer, multi-instrumentalist and singer, Boo Kicks.
Do you find that having that sort of experience as a producer helps you a lot with sort of the creation of your own music and helps you with that creative process, being as a solo artist, doing that all on your own?
Yeah, definitely. I think like sometimes it can hinder, but it definitely helps when, from idea genesis point of view, like it really helps. It depends on what vibe I'm feeling at the time. If I'm thinking strictly 4/4, I don't need anyone else. I'm like, yeah, I will stick in Ableton, I will just have fun and loop things and do crazy stuff. But then when it comes to writing piano compositions, which some of my pieces start out as, then it becomes difficult and I think, okay, I know I want some different time signatures here. Can't really be bothered trying to program drums to fit into different time signatures. So that's when I'm like, oh, I wish I had my band. So it's only at that point that I don't love being a solo artist.
Is it something that you enjoy doing so much that you would want to have it as like full-time job?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally my just blinkers on at the moment. Is like all I'm doing is trying to be an artist and a musician, and in whatever context that will be, I don't care. Just like let me be in music. I've tried so many other jobs along the side, but the goal is, obviously, collaborate, write, and be free.
Are you working on your own at the moment in terms of like a team? Is it just you? Yeah. Do you find that a big struggle that if you're having to, you're working as your own manager, you're working as your own booking agent?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, then I know I'm letting myself down. I'm definitely letting myself down because it comes to, I don't know, the end of the day. And let's say I've done a bit of practice here, I've been writing something there, and then I go, right, okay, now it's content time. Now it's thinking about emailing whoever, trying to get people to come down to gigs. It's not what I'm meant to do. And it takes away your, I don't know, connection to the music. It makes me want to give up.
If you could leave all the social media stuff out of it and just make the music, would you?
Oh my God, I'm telling you, if I didn't have to think about any of that and I was just like, let's say I had unlimited money and I could just work with anyone and everyone, I would just be writing music every single day for the rest of my life. And I would just be honing in my craft. I'd learn 100 million instruments, if there are 100 million instruments. And yeah, I'd probably have like, I don't know, at least 10 albums released by now. Yeah. Like definitely, yeah.
After speaking with Boo, I wanted to find out how a band in a similar position views these issues. I met up with grunge and shoegaze-inspired band Step Over.
What sort of led you to working together then as a band?
Well, it's through going to uni, me and Will originally, and then we'd sort of written some ideas and we were like, oh, let's just sort of play them, try and practice together. And then, Jasmine didn't start playing with us for the first few months, so we were like desperately trying to find a vocalist. But in the end, we managed to convince you.
Do you think because you have that background in music tech and everything else, do you think that really helps with that recording process?
Definitely, because we don't have to rely. Yeah, we don't have to rely on other people or booking people in or wait until they're free. And also having like people like Jacob to just be ready to film something if we need it, or we can get an idea done if we have an idea.
Is it something that you would want to be doing full time?
I mean, I guess the dream would be doing it full time, like getting to do it without having to balance the two. But in a way, it is quite nice because it's sort of, I don't know, it feels more like a project which you can dedicate time to and you're happy to other than work. It doesn't feel like a chore.
Yeah, it's like a passion project rather than a job.
Exactly. Like we're not relying on making money to be able to do it, but of course that would be amazing if we were.
Yeah. Because I also think like if you're
in like a band or some kind of music project and your mentality or like outlook on it is, I'm doing this to make money, it doesn't, you can tell, and it doesn't come across as genuine, and I think that takes away from it. But then again, we've all got to make a living. So yeah, it's a bit.
Do you find it a long process if you're having to do a lot of that yourself, like you're booking shows, you're running social media accounts, you're doing a lot of the recording maybe yourself, would having sort of a bit of a support system around that?
It's quite nice, really, I think, doing it ourselves.
It's not awful when it's like 4 people in a band. If it was like solo artists, that would be rough, I think, having to do everything yourself. But like,
because there is a lot of admin.
Like with 4 people, it's like you can kind of start to split it up where someone does like the kind of admin side, someone's doing like the socials and stuff. It's like you can, it's not awful, but.
And I think also it's nice that the fact that it is like, if people are getting in touch with us, like they know it's us, like directly, like there's no sort of in-between person. And I think sometimes that's better because you're just getting a straight up answer.
Another huge section of the Manchester music scene is session musicians. I met with saxophonist Stan Lewis in his practice studio to find out how these artists are able to make an income. And thanks so much for meeting with us. You're a saxophone player who does a lot of session work and also with your own band. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, I do quite a lot of remote sessions. It's mainly remote sessions, but a few in studio as well. A lot of the time people just come out on Instagram and just let me know what they want and just get to it.
Is there something you enjoy in particular about doing that sort of session work?
Yeah, I think because it gives me like the chance to have like a big like portfolio of people I've worked with without the commitments of time that you have to put into playing live with someone. I feel like you can just do something. You've got a product that's part of your like body of work without having to commit like 2-3 hours every week for practices and stuff.
The finances involved with doing session work, like a lot of people maybe assume that session musicians are making a lot of money because they're being brought in for one specific thing. Do you find that having session work is more financially stable than having sort of that live and sort of own performance stuff?
I think so. I've earned more from sessions than live stuff, I think. But also it's like sometimes people don't want to pay, so it's like they'll try to organise a session and like you'll give them your fee and then they just start, I don't know, wavering a bit, and sometimes they don't get back to you, and then it's just like, well, it's not really steady if you can't like get the same fee every time. So it's always like I don't get the same fee for everything because it has to be like negotiable, if you know what I mean. So I'd say it is like steady, but I don't know, it's difficult.
Do you find it more difficult whenever you're working with people that you're friendly with in that sort of negotiation stage of it being a case of, oh, well, we've known you for years, so this is how much we're going to sort of pay you for that, but you're going on the other side of, well, this is what I charge for my services. Does that create a bit of friction then outside of sort of the creation process?
Definitely, yeah. And then like in terms of like, we touched on it briefly off camera, but like the sort of like fee versus like writing credit. It's also like really like, even with people like you said, like you've known for years and stuff, I've had conversations with them where like you ask for like a writing credit on something that they want you on, and they get like a bit funny about it, and it's just like, well, you haven't written it, but then like one of your tunes will be like, become like a main hook of the tune, so it's like, you know, it is difficult.
To find out more about the production side of music, I sat down with JJ in his new home studio to find out more.
I've been making music, producing music for about 5 or 6 years now. I think I started in lockdown, did it throughout the whole of uni, and since then in and out of work. Had a job now for 2 years doing music on the side and stuff, but it's been good, it's been really good. I do a lot of piano work, play with Ben, play in the Greenskeepers Jam, I play at a jam on Tuesday night. It's just trying to be active in the live music scene in Manchester because it's really cool scene to be a part of.
Do you enjoy that live work more, or do you enjoy the production side of things a bit more?
I get different things from each thing. Like say with the production, I make a kind of music that I don't usually play live, so I mainly produce like like grime music, like jazzy, soulful grime music, and like UK rap and stuff, which is really, really fun. And that's what I listen to all the time, and it's really, really enjoyable to make that. But that's kind of just production. When it comes to the live stuff, it kind of gets to be more like neo soul, R&B, due to the nature of jamming and like the nature of like where that came from and stuff. But then also the people that I jam with.
Do you find the work as a producer more easy to manage alongside sort of external
having a job? Yeah, definitely, because just the power of carrying a laptop around. Like I can, like the other day I was on a double at work, like 13-hour shift, just doing bartending stuff. Then I had an hour break in the middle and I had my laptop in my bag, and so I just sit on a table with my headphones on and just make music for an hour on my laptop. And then like I sent that beat off to a rapper in London and he's going to make a song from it. And it's like the fact that I can do that just whilst working is really convenient for me. It's really nice. And like coming home, oh, I'm a bit tired from work, I don't want to sit and play the piano, but I can put my headphones on and I can just sit and make a beat in my room and stuff like that, you know. And with this beautiful setup you got over here, it's so nice to do that.
With having that as something that's in-house now,
yeah.
Is it hard to find that work-life balance maybe with it, in terms of you've always got that available to you, or is it something that you're enjoying that much that you don't really even see it as work still?
Yeah, I think if I did music as a job now, I want to do it as my job obviously in the future, but I think now, when I'm still kind of coming to terms with what my music is and what my sound is and stuff like that, and meeting people and having these experiences, having like a job that I do full time, which is removed from music, hospitality, you know, everyone does it, and having that be removed, I come back and I'm excited to make music. I'm like, oh wow, I've had like 7 hours this morning. Like today I've been in work, really busy Sunday shift, everyone's hungover, coming in for breakfast and stuff like that, and then I get to come home and like, you know, the first thing I came in, I started playing piano and like making music. I'm really excited all day, and so it's really nice. It's a good balance, I think. It's a really good balance.
Most of the artists I've spoken to so far are relatively early in their careers. To see how things have changed, I met with Manchester's very own Pins.
You have been a band for over sort of 15, you're coming up to 15 years now.
Yeah.
What do you think has changed the most as a band in that time, either from a creative process or an industry process for yourselves?
Well, the industry looks completely different to when we first started, didn't it? Well, I wasn't in the band when we first started, but even back then, you know, Instagram was like a new thing, but the industry itself, it's like what we're navigating through now is so different to at the beginning or during those times, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point actually. I was speaking to someone just the other day about that. So I think there was probably more freedom to be a band when we started, and that was kind of what you did. And you did have to make what we would now call content, but it was something you're able to do quite naturally when you're kind of out on the road or in the practice room and doing your thing. And there wasn't this pressure to kind of be constantly doing that sort of several times a day, or you know, selecting snippets of your own music and trying to build the content out from there.
With the content creation side of things, is that something that as a band you enjoy doing, or is it more?
That's something we hate doing.
But I think we like doing bits of it, which is the bits that we do, but we've never really bought into doing all the millions of videos and stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable.
The idea of like talking to the camera face on and being like, hi, we're doing this, I hate that.
If you could go full time as a band, is that something that you would want to do, or do you enjoy having the opportunity to sort of dip in and out and have time away?
We need to see the terms of the contract and what we're required to produce. I think it would be like fantastic to just have the space to just be a musician, and sort of sit around writing and coming up with ideas for the artwork, and I think that would be really nice. And I think a lot of creative people probably feel like that. It's like, wouldn't it be great if I could actually just focus my energy where I want to focus it? And probably everyone in the world feels like that. Like, oh, I wish I didn't actually have to go and spend 8 hours a day doing something I don't really care about, to be able to fund the stuff that I do care about. But as a positive thing from that, I think it has, I can only speak personally, but like kept that drive alive to make time to do stuff.
Becoming signed as a band can change things massively. I chatted with Shaking Hand to see how they balance music and touring alongside everyday life.
What is it that you enjoy so much about being part of a band?
as opposed to sort of working on your own sort of solo stuff maybe?
I can't really finish sort of musical ideas on my own at the best of times. So I don't think I could do it on my own, really.
Working on something together as a team. Like when you're working on a song and you have one really good practice and you write like a verse and a chorus, it's just so like exciting. You go home and you just like listening to it throughout the week and it just gives you a buzz.
Do you find it difficult balancing that alongside sort of normal working hours?
I think it is quite tough. I've managed to find like a structure with my job where I finish at 5, so just a sound check up where I can get to it. But sometimes it's just like an energy thing. It's like if you're working all day and then you practice and you want to be able to have the energy to like still have mental energy to write stuff. Sometimes it's just not there.
Do you think it would put less of a strain on you if you were just working in music full time? If your new 9 to 5 sort of working hours were that you were writing and recording, and then after that you were then going home to be part of your families and stuff again?
Yeah, I think it would be easier. I don't know if that would make it feel more like work, if that's what you're having to do, if you know what I mean, but it certainly would be the more preferable situation, I think. But yeah.
With booking dates to go and play live shows, is that something that's difficult, especially as a 3-piece, as opposed to someone who may be a solo artist?
I think getting the time off for me has been alright because we haven't really done a massive tour yet. We just did like a 3-night tour and that was alright. Then at the end of the year we're planning a big like EU tour, but because Europe they seem to pay like quite a lot more than UK shows, so the money side of it is okay with that stuff. But we might actually make money, which is pretty crazy.
Imagine that. The booking side of stuff's been a bit easier for us this year as well, because we're lucky enough that our manager sort of deals with a lot of that, whereas that's still quite recent, isn't it? Because before that we were dealing with everything and that was getting a bit overwhelming.
Is there something that you guys as a whole prefer? Is it sort of all individual? Do you prefer having sort of that writing studio time? Do you prefer playing live, or is it just as a mix of all of the things together as a band that you get the most enjoyment from?
I think the live thing is always it's like the thing that you want to do. I think going like spending time in studios and stuff like that, that's really fun, but it's sort of there's a lot of time when you're not really doing a lot. Certainly for me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, well, for the sound, the type of music we make, it's all about capturing the live sound anyway. Happiest I ever am sometimes when playing music is when it's a jam in the rehearsal room, which is just, you listen back to the phone record and you're like, oh, how did we do that? It was really cool.
My final stop brings me to the University of Salford to meet with Simon Kealan, lecturer, promoter and multi-instrumentalist from Mandy, Indiana, to discuss work-life balance as a globally touring musician.
I think from the sort of public perception of a band like yourselves, you've had a #1 album, you're touring across the UK and Europe, you're on the cover of NME. You think the public perception of you not being a full-time musician makes that damaging in a way?
You know, I try not to read like all the comments and kind of reviews and stuff, but I did all note there was one comment on like a Guardian piece the other week around like the second album, which was kind of like, oh, it's great that these guys back seem like they were destined for big things around the first album, but it fizzled out. And it's like, well, it didn't fizzle out, we just carried on in our lives. Like we did the album, we did the tour and the shows that we could and enjoyed them, and then, you know, we had to make a second album, and you know, we want to make a second album, but we can't, you know, write and record and play shows at the same time. So, you know, we had to stop playing shows for a bit to make sure this other bit could happen. But yeah, I think like the perception is that, yeah, I don't know if like, you know, at our level people would necessarily think we've made it, but I think probably the perception is that we're on some kind of trajectory where that's going to happen. But it's incredibly difficult to do that level without kind of throwing in a lot of other things in your life to do that. And we try and do as much as we can within our confines, but at the same time, yeah, we're not willing to, I think, throw away a lot of the other things that are important to us in our lives.
Would you trade the sort of the work that you're doing outside of creating music and performing music, would you trade that sort of stuff to then go full-time if it came to that?
I don't think I would. I enjoy doing lots of different things in my life, and I think, like I said before, the danger, for me anyway, I'm not saying this is true of all musicians, and I'm sure there's people you've spoken to who, you know, would say the different, you know, something different. But for me, the danger of kind of doing something like a band full time is that you lose the enjoyment and the fun and the excitement of doing it when you do get to do it. It does become like another job. You know, sometimes with promoting, which is a lot of what I do beyond kind of lecturing as well, it's like the more shows I do, they're fun, but again, it definitely loses a bit of the spark of when I was first doing stuff and I was only doing kind of like, you know, 10, 15 shows a year, like now going up to like 50 or 60 now. You know, they're all great, and it's, you know, I'm really lucky to work with the artists that I work with, but it does become a bit more of a grind, I guess, and yeah, I don't think I would want that to feel like that for the band at all. So yeah, personally, I enjoy mixing it up.
After speaking to everyone, it's clear that making money from your music can't be the driving force, and that the creation of the art itself is what motivates people to continue to do so. While making music as a job may be the dream for some, turning it into your new 9-to-5 might have a different impact than you expect. I've been Kealan, thank you so much for watching.